What's up, Chuckers? Producer Mike here. Welcome to your Served 5-Setter, a weekly roundup of all things Racket Sports. 5 stories in 10 minutes or less. Today is February 6th, 2026. Here's what we've got for you. A Texas-sized field in Austin, PhoneGate or something like that, Padel's global season, a new Olympic path to gold. But first, Carlos Alcaraz is officially on tattoo watch. After winning the Australian Open, Carlitos confirmed that he will be keeping up with his slam tradition of getting a tattoo. The next being, of course, a kangaroo. The Down Under marsupial will be joining his Wimbledon strawberry, Parisian Eiffel Tower, and the Statue of Liberty. However, his parents should not be concerned. He confirmed this week in an interview with the Spanish outlet Marca, quote, "I am not going to get one on my face or in the middle of my thigh or anything like that, and they're relatively small tattoos, medium-sized. That's why they don't raise any red flags. It's under control." You know what? DM me at ServedMike on Instagram your drawing of what Carlos's tat should look like, and I will share the best ones on the next episode of Served. Andy and I will pick a winner, and maybe we'll send that winner a hat. All right, now back to the news. We may not be able to confirm Carlos's next tattoo design just quite yet, but it is confirmed that the world number one has withdrawn from Rotterdam, saying he needs time to recover after a long Australian Open run. A trend that has spread across the tours, as we have seen withdrawals from Alexander Zverev, Aryna Sabalenka, and Jessica Pegula. However, stateside, the Dallas Open is getting underway with a heavy American presence, including Ben Shelton and Tommy Paul. Also, a quick shout out to the Nexo Dallas Open Tournament Director, Peter Lebedevs, who joined Andy on this week's Q&Andy for a special edition breaking down how a tournament actually comes together. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's live on YouTube and in the podcast feed. Set number 2 is sticking in Texas. The ATX Open in Austin is right around the corner, running February 21st through March 1st, and the field is loaded. It was confirmed this week that the 45-year-old Venus Williams is back, accepting a wild card for both singles and doubles. And joining the living legend is one of the sport's fastest risers, Iva Jovic, who cracked the WTA top 20 this week. At just 18 years and 2 months of age, Jovic became the youngest American woman to reach the Australian Open quarterfinals since, well, Venus Williams did in 1998. I'm no mathematician, but that's like 9 years before Eva was even born. Wow. Here is set number 3, from a marathon mentality to a total focus fail. Maybe. In one of the strangest moments of the young season, world number 38, Ugo Humbert stopped play in a deciding third set tiebreak while leading 4-3 to check his phone at his bag.
What a shot that is. Humbert turning this tiebreak around.
The chance there, and such good accuracy. Backhand up the line.
The timing couldn't have been worse. Humbert didn't win another point, dropping the tiebreak 7-4 and ultimately the match. Social media immediately spiraled with theories, but regardless of what the internet dreams up, the optics are brutal. And whatever the Frenchman Humbert was doing, one thing is for sure, France is in the process of potentially banning social media for people under the age of 15. Maybe they should add players ranked 38th or higher to the potential law. We will keep an eye on this story. Check out the newsletter for more. All right, on to the 4th set. Tennis isn't the only racket sport firing up its season. The Premier Padel Tour officially begins its 2026 campaign this week with the Riyadh season P1 starting February 9th. This year marks the 5th season of Premier Padel, and the tour structure is starting to look very familiar to tennis fans. At the top, there are 4 Premier Padel majors, the sport's equivalent of Grand Slams. Just below that are the P1 events, which function much like the Masters 1000s, bigger points, bigger prize money, and the strongest fields on tour. After the event this month in Saudi Arabia, Premier Padel's next P1 event is in Miami, March 23rd through the 29th at the Miami Beach Convention Center, also during the Miami Open. The tour's schedule features over 20 tournaments across some 15 countries, checking many of the boxes that would lead some to consider it a global sport. Will we see Padel potentially making a push to be included in the upcoming Olympic Games? I'm going to say yes, because it's fun as hell to watch. Let's go to set number 5. And speaking of the Olympics, on January 31st, officials announced the LA 28 Olympic qualification system for one of its newest sports, squash. The Olympic tournament will feature an ultra-exclusive 16-player draw for both men and women, played on a purpose-built glass court at Universal Studios. World Squash President Zena Woodridge said, quote, "For many, the Olympic dream will feel one step closer today." Squash will join the current Olympic racket sports lineup of tennis, badminton, and table tennis at the Games in Los Angeles. And that brings us to this week's tie break trivia. Which Olympic gold medalist in singles became a seriously competitive squash player after retiring from tennis? Sign up for the 5-Setter newsletter to find the answer if you haven't already Googled it. All right, guys, that's it for this week's 5-Setter. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube or follow us on your favorite podcast platform. For deeper dives, sign up for the newsletter. The link is in the show description. This has been a production of Served Media. Thank you to the team behind the scenes, Bubba for filling in for Techie Sean, and I will see you chuckers on Tuesday.